Bonjour everybody, welcome back to another video. It's problem number 25 of the 2025 AMC8. Michaela finds all the possible ways to draw a path in a 5x5 diamond-shaped grid. Each path starts at the bottom of the grid and ends at the top, always moving 1 unit northeast or northwest. She computes the area of the region between each path on the right side of the grid. 2 examples are shown in the figures below. What are the sum of the areas determined by all possible paths? So your first instinct when you see this problem is perhaps to just solve for all the possible paths and then solve for all their areas and then just add them all together. But not only is there a high likelihood of screwing up when you do that, it also takes at least 30 minutes when the AMC8 is only 40. So there's another way you can do this, which I personally think is rather helpful. It's basically finding the average of the numbers, the areas just in general, and then we need to multiply it by like how many ways that you can do it, if that makes sense. So firstly, basically if I draw a little line of symmetry right here, you can basically see there's a little tidbit of this problem that's like kind of simplistic actually when you figure out that it's not actually as bad as it looks. If you split it down the center, it doesn't look very symmetrical, of course, because there's already your path drawn on. But when you split it down the center and when you flip it, like horizontally you flip it, there is always going to be a path in which you just go the complete opposite of the path that you already have. And if that doesn't make sense, basically, if you see this path right here, you're going right, you're going right, left, right again. There's always going to be a path where you go left, right, left, if that makes sense, to still end up at the same point. And the thing about that path is that it's always going to look like the empty space that was left behind by your first path. So for example, in this diagram, the empty space is going to be this path. And this is the same for every single possible path that you can find. And since, as you guys can see, when drawn out black and white, these two paths added together, the area of them always equals 25 because they take up the entire grid by themselves. So for example, the squares that the first path missed, basically you can think of it as the second path coming back for them. So basically, now that we know that the area of the two paths that can be paired together added together is always 25, we basically have the average of those two. So that's 25 simply just divided by 2. So now, what is the other thing I was talking to you guys about? Because this is only the average area of the paths, not the amount of paths there is in total. And how do we even find that a number? So basically, in any circumstance, when you're doing this problem, you basically have another funny little tidbit that you can kind of just materialize on. So basically, when you're going up to the top, you must have the same amount of rights as you have lefts, if that makes sense. So for example, using the same diagram, we have 1 left, 3 rights, 4 lefts, 2 rights. And if you add that together, you get the same number for each. And why is this? It's basically because if the real ones know, the 2024 AMC8, there was a problem in which you had a bunny hopping up the stairs. So you basically have to have the same amount to end up in the same place that you were originally. Because obviously Michaela can't just go straight upwards. So she basically think of it as like a car swerving back and forth to try to end up at the same spot. They have to swerve the same amounts of ways right as they swerve left in order to end up in the original place. Don't try this at home. So basically, that means that you can either use left or right, but we need to choose 5 squares that are either left or right. I'm just going to go left. We need to choose 5 squares that are left in order for the rest to be right, and that way we can end up in the same spot at the very top. So basically, to do this, we basically just need to choose 5 from 10, like so. So in this way, we basically multiply it with our original average, 10 multiplied by 9 multiplied by 8 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 6 over 5 factorial, or 5, 4, 3, 2, and we don't care about the 1 because the 1 does not help in any circumstance. If we simplify a little, the 5, the 2, we can, actually, that's not actually a very easy way to do it. Let's go it like that instead. And then the 5 and the 25, we can simplify that as well. All right, so we're only left with this now. 10 multiplied by 9 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 5. Of course, on the bottom, there's still the 1 that we can't simplify with anyone, but nobody cares about it anyway, so let's just leave that for now. Since we can now multiply 9 and 5, so this is 45. 45 multiplied by 7, tick-tock, a little bit of mental arithmetic, that's 315. Multiplied by 10, this is 3150. Therefore, the answer is B, 3150. So yeah, that's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye-bye!